Jai Shri Ram. How professional are you? We often hear complaints about people lacking professionalism. So let's examine what exactly it means to be a professional. Okay? Now, this is something I picked up from somewhere on the net. I'm sure it'll give us some wonderful insights. Think through these questions and analyze yourself patiently. For every positive trait, give yourself 1 point, and for every negative one minus point. Be honest with yourself. Anyway, you don't have to share what you have discovered about yourself with anyone. Okay, fine. Do you see an adverse market situation as an opportunity for growth, or do you dread it greatly? Honestly, I do dread it, but then I immediately think about how I can exploit it as an opportunity for growth. Okay. Well, I dwell on my strengths, build my strengths, and market myself. Focus sharply on the potential customer instead of wasting money and time on general advertisements everywhere. Using big data, for example, to get to the customer. Okay. Do you find it easy to work in teams, or do you have trouble adjusting to most of your colleagues? Hmm. Yeah, I can work in teams, but then uh, they will have to follow. They'll have to follow rules and live up to their obligations. Otherwise, I would rather work alone. Do you show an entrepreneurial interest in any assignment your employer has given you and go the extra mile? I like that phrase, going the extra mile. I always go the extra mile. I have always believed that we must exceed the expectations of not just customers, of anyone who is in a relationship with us. Always exceed expectations and always uh, not just meet deadlines, beat the deadline. So, this is something I've always lived for, and I keep living my life with this kind of a what do you call with this kind of an attitude. Exceed expectations all the time and not just meet the deadline, beat the deadline. Or do you deliver only what is required of you? No, not at all. I have never done just that. That would be unlike me completely. I would always do much more. And sometimes, as they say, a good deed never goes unpunished. I've seen that too. Do you build coaching into your role, volunteering to help any junior colleague acquire skills you have mastered? Or do you believe everyone is on his her own? Honestly, I'm sick and tired of coaching because I've realized those who want to be coached will have a certain honesty and sincerity about them, and you can make that out. Others are pretenders, and most of them, especially these days, not just the younger generation, almost all generations seem to have acquired a certain sense of egoism and egotism, conceit. They think they already know all the answers, and they are untrainable, unteachable. You see, so do you build coaching? Do you build coaching into your role? Well, not really. Though, of course, I make every attempt to do so when I'm talking, hoping that people will understand these finer truths which I have learned the hard way. I always believed smart people learn from others' mistakes. And I personally was not very smart because most of the lessons I've learned by making my own mistakes. Well, I hope makes some sense. Do you seek out mentors or do you have problems accepting guidance? Honestly, my mentors are the books that I read. Great authors, Mahabharata, Vyasa, Valmiki in Ramayana, they are my mentors. And great personalities in history. and how they live their lives. I hardly find any mentors today. They're all extremely materialistic people with selfish agendas. So I do seek out mentors, and by seeking out mentors, I mean Krishna and Rama. Bhagavad Gita is my mentor. So whenever I have a doubt, I go through the Bhagavad Gita. Fortunately, because I've been delivering talks on Bhagavad Gita for the last 30 years now, I have done a repeated study of the Gita. So for every problem that I face in life, when I spend some time mulling over the profound meanings of Gita, I get the answers to my problems. So Gita is my mentor. I have no problem accepting Krishna's guidance. But, well, in the real world, humans, I haven't found. In fact, the so-called mentors have failed me several times. Do you take professional disagreements in your stride, or do you let them affect your functioning? Honestly, a disagreement indicates that there is a serious conflict of opinion, and we cannot continue working together when we have that kind of a disagreement. Okay, you cannot support the policy of war and at the same time be a peacenik. So you have to be either a pacifist or a fighter. You can't be both at the same time. So do you take professional disagreements in your stride? No, I do take them in my stride if the other person's presence does not seriously interfere with my work. And suppose in my group there is a person who has a serious disagreement with me, I'll make every effort to convince that person. That's what I'll do. Because if that person is not convinced, sometimes convincing would also mean telling that person, okay, listen, you are fully entitled to disagree. But in this context, for my sake, please fall in line. Otherwise, you will become the weak link in the chain. So even that might be resorted to. Do you willingly take up new assignments and develop the skills required for them, or do you fear the unknown? Well, I will not take up any new assignments if it does not gel with my overall overarching career objectives. Right? Of course, lateral growth. Lateral growth is also good. That means I might learn things seriously unconnected with my overall career growth. But that should not consume too much of my time and energy or resources. New assignments, yes, I will take them up. Because as a teacher, if I am given a new subject, I won't mind. But if as a teacher, if I am given some gardening job, I would probably reject that. So everything again depends on so many other considerations. I don't fear the unknown, not at all. Do you work in a spirit of collaboration with your colleagues? Or do you let unhealthy rivalry affect your functioning? Never, never. No unhealthy rivalry. Just do your job. And remember, together we are a team. Because when we work together, we win. And even if one person works against us, we all lose. So, that is the value I keep instilling in people around me. Do you get excited starting your day at work? Or do you think of how to get through the day? Not at all. Every day is a bonus. Every day is a blessing. If I have woken up today, I feel that Krishna has given me 24 hours to do something worthwhile. And within these 24 hours, I'll do as many good things as possible and learn something new, make a new YouTube video, and hope that somebody will listen and be inspired and their life might change. In that sense, I feel that I've made some useful contribution to someone's life. Do you network with professionals in related fields to get better at what you do, or do you restrict yourself to those in your field? That's a good question. Honestly, I have not done this. I think we should all do that. We should pool our knowledge. Unfortunately, people are always pooling their ignorance. They're becoming idiots. So this is something. Well, anyway, how professional are you? My understanding of professionalism would mean you are a professional if you are completely dedicated to the task on hand and you are very knowledgeable in your area of expertise, in your subject, and you are self possessed, which means you will have a lot of patience handling doubts. You will not be peevish, irritable, short tempered. You will be a sevak in short. I call myself a GRE verbal sevak because Pradhan Mantri Modi ji, when he won the election in 2014, he went on to the ramparts of the Red Fort and said, मैं प्रधान मंत्री नहीं हूँ, मैं प्रधान सेवक हूँ. That day I tore up my old business card and renamed my designation GRE Verbal Sevak. And just the tag, that suffix of the word Sevak, has transformed my personality. I see myself as a Sevak. And I think this is called servant leadership. You lead people by serving them. Okay. So being professional means being highly skilled, being well informed, being thorough, being totally committed, being patient, being nice to people. No free floating anger. People will annoy us, but we will never lose our composure. And follow up. Concern, genuine concern, but being detached, immersed but detached. In the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita, like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. Padma Patram Ivambasa. Immersed but detached. So that I think is being professional. I hope it was a useful discussion. Jai Shri Ram.